Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm going to be checking out a new Runcam model, and man, I say that a lot, don't I? This is the Runcam Micro Sparrow V2 Pro. So as far as I can tell, it is exactly the same as the Micro Sparrow V2 that I've already reviewed on the channel, except for the fact that it is the M12 lens version. So this is an interesting one, I think, because Runcam sent me the M12 version of the Swift Micro, I think, and they called it the V3, and they only released it in this form factor here. That's not been the case with the Sparrow, so maybe the Sparrow 2 is a more popular model than the Swift now, because we have got these two different versions here. And yeah, I think the circuit board is exactly the same, the features are the same, so I'll link my review to this one in the below. However, you can see we have got a 2.1mm M12 lens here, and we have got the smaller micro lens. You can screw them both in, but my conclusion from this guy was that I actually preferred how this looked, because it allowed more light to go in, and I found that the picture was just a little bit better for me. Of course, that is subjective, and that is the same with this guy, really. I notice through the DVR that it's a little bit more lighter than this one. So, which is the best between these two? Well, it really depends what you are going for. If you want slightly better light handling, I would go with this one. There is a problem though. This one is over 10 grams, right? And this one, I think, is the lightest Runcam that they have at 4.5 grams, something like that. So this is over double the weight. And if you are into building lightweight builds like myself, then that might be a reason to go for the smaller one. So I'm glad that they have released both of them. But what we do have with this is a full case, you know, so if you slam into a load of mud, there's not an open circuit board there, so, you know, you have that. But other than that, yeah, we've got an on-screen display here, so we have got the voltage in, and it takes a wide voltage range, just like all the other Runcam, so 5 volt to 36. This one, I think, is going to be available with a 1.8mm lens, so that's going to be a fairly wide field of view. I think they say 165 degrees against the 150 of the 2.1, so that might be another reason to go for this guy. But yeah, we have got the VBAT in for the on-screen display. These do not have camera controls. They're really sort of stagnating the features of these cameras. So this one has camera controls, so you can hook it up to a UART, the TX and the RX, and you have camera controls. Not these guys. So, you know, they're coming out with so many different versions, and I imagine we'll see a V3 with camera controls, perhaps. I don't know. I personally don't use camera controls anyway, so that's not so much of a deal breaker for me. Let's see what you get in the package. So you no longer get instructions, but you do get a link to download the instructions. I prefer that because, you know, it's just another piece of paper to deal with. We have got the joystick control there for changing the camera controls, and then we've got our usual package, and usually the wires are really good with the Runcam. So yeah, we've got a silicon wire there, and then we have got this little extension cable here so that you can plug in the other extension cable that we have in here, and that is to go into the little controller there. We have got a mount, although, you know, copters usually come with their own mounts. We've got a load of screws and O-rings in there, just the same as you get with most Runcam packages. You know, the wiring harness, though, is going to be slightly different than the Micro Swift, like say the V1, because that is split. So we have got more cables here, so yeah, but that's fine. They give you all the cables that you need. So all I need now is an abundance of copters released with a bad camera. So this is the DT160, and as you can see, the camera fits into the micro mounting no problem, so it's 18mm across, but just look how far forward it sticks out the front. Now they have put the screw holes as far forward in the casing as possible, but I am glad that in this instance they have released both micro version and the full case, because if I was building a micro copter like a 3-inch or even smaller, I think I'd go for this camera, even though that this one can cope with the lighting a little bit better because it's smaller and it's not going to stick out the front so much. And that's the case with the Micro Swift V3. They never released the smaller version of it, and Runcam, if you're listening, I think there is a need for it because, again, look how far forward this one sticks out. I think these would be fine on a 5-inch, but it's going to be more difficult to get the camera protected in the smaller models. Okay, so there are a few things going on here that's making it hard for the comparison. So ignore the fact that it says DT140 at the top. It's not. It's the DT160. They just forgot to change the name when they gave them the same CLI dump. So when I reviewed this copter, it was getting noise through the system, and that still seems to be the case. So they should have put a capacitor on there. Also, when I flew the original model, I was getting jello on the picture on full throttle, and that is still the case when I've switched the camera out. Now, CMOS is more susceptible to rolling shutter jello, but I actually think it's vibrations through the props and also the frame in this case, because when I compare the smaller version and any other CMOS camera from Runcam, it doesn't suffer from jello. So I'm going to put that down to the copter and not really the camera. That being said, I do still prefer the picture of the bigger M12 lens. It's not going to show itself much through the DVR, but through the goggles the image was just a little bit more crisp and the light handling was better. It's not enough to make me choose one over the other though, and at the end of the day I'll be picking whichever camera is most suitable for the build ergonomically. But there you go, there is my take on the Runcam Sparrow V2 Pro. I'll link it in the description and I'll leave you with some flying. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.
Watching it end again and again. Feel it in waves, you follow me, drifting to places I should leave. So close to the edge of something so perfect. We were too scared to take the leap. I'm missing the way we used to be. Let me go. Let me in this mess I'm falling. Never know. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Couldn't get any closer. Try to forget all that we had. I'm rolling like water in the sea. The memories crashing into me. So close to the edge.